And welcome everybody to another brand new episode of Adventures in Reality with your host, me, Andrew Bartzis. Yes, I have been gone for nearly 3 weeks. Had to get prepared for my Mount Shasta trip. The trip was outstanding. I had over 35 people show up to the event. I had a very incredible group of people. David Waterfall, Elise Finlayson, Larry Bazell in 5D Media, and creating5d.org were there. We were recording a large volume of videos. I was doing the 52 million year time war reading out of the Akashic record, and that took quite a few hours to get done. Today's show is talking about what went on in Mount Shasta. People have been sending me questions galore. I've got over 2,000 emails that I haven't even got to yet. I do have a secretary now that's taking care of a lot of the work. The automated booking system will be up shortly for those that are waiting. For those that already prepaid, I'm doing the prepaid bookings first. I had a situation where I got over 600 requests for readings in a span of 3 weeks. And I only do 72 a month, and if you are familiar at all with the Psychic Net reading, 72 a month is like the vast majority of people. A bit of a challenge to get everything done. My producer, Andre Harge. My mic is all the way up. Yeah, my mic is all the way up. Let me make this go closer. How's that?
That's much better, Andrew.
All right, I'll just have to get closer to you here. I was trying to use a Mac before, and if you're a PC user and you try to use the Mac for the first time, it's really confusing. So I went back to a PC. So this is going to open up calls, 347-688-2902, and I'll be answering questions. I will be doing a limited amount of readings. So please do not overwhelm Hans. Hans is filling in for Andre, who's getting some sleep right now, some well-deserved sleep. He was anchoring this position here as my producer. I want to thank Hans for taking his time out of his day to help me out here while I'm in this transition phase. I will be moving to Seattle to be with people here that I find to be the most wonderful people that I could possibly be with. The amount of video production and audio production we've got done in the last 2 weeks alone is just outstanding, and this will be ready for opening pretty quick. It'll be uploaded here to Rev Radio and Rev Radio, as well as to my website and to the other propagation websites that we have. I will be doing a series of. Hold on, this headset's falling out. We'll be doing a series of webinars that's based off of the material in the Galactic Historian release. You'll be checking on my website for all the information of that. It's looking about 10 to 12 days, maybe 8, before we release the first groupings of videos. There's just a tremendous amount of information that has to be gone through so they're properly labeled. And we did it this time a little different. Instead of doing 2-hour shows, we recorded it in 25 minutes chunks so people can absorb the information much quicker. So that's that. That's the update. So why don't we have people that want to call in, and you could ask me questions, or you can do some readings here. I was still a little bit determined if I wasn't going to be doing a show today. I still have to make it to Nia Bay to go to literally what's called the Womb of the Earth, and in the Womb of the Earth is by the Makah Indians of the Northwest Territories here. It is literally where they believe that the species of humans were born at. And it's an opportunity to go there and to spend time in relaxation and deep meditation with a place that has been honored and honored and honored for a very long time as a sacred place. As well as Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta is just another amazing place. It's the heart chakra of the world, and that heart chakra there was very present. The amount of synchronicities that we all felt, the amount of energy that we all felt was just, out of this world at times. There were people that came from Hawaii, a person from Germany. There was this wonderful lady that all she does is go around the world and privately teach people how to grow medical cannabis. And 73 years old, survived Auschwitz death camp. And you know what? That's what she does now. Her surviving technique is still to get into teaching people how to make medicine to cure themselves. Hold on a second. Got a little bit of technical issues. Yeah, the headset I'm using just has earphones, doesn't have a mic, and the mic is all the way up, so I'm just going to have to talk close into the computer until my tech person comes back over with the other headset that they had. I have a little bit more news. I'll be releasing a series of books. There's a deal in the works here that's going to have the entire Walking in Energy series be recreated into a book, as well as with the 20 episodes that I recorded with Lance White, the Zany Mystic, on BBS Radio. And that material itself will also be released into a book, and then a number of my archives here are going to be converted into, how do we describe it, a self-healing tool book, a self-empowerment book. For all those that have been listening for a while, you get that each person is a teacher, and each teacher translates differently into the linguistics. I've frequently spoken about sacred geometry linguistics and how they limit our ability to interreact and inter-co-create with different subjects. So that's that. Say, Hans, if you want to open up the call-in lines, 347-688-2902. Remind everybody, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com and Wolf Spirit Radio, which is simulcasting this show, is a listener-supported station. Without your support, these stations don't exist. It is within the power of you to give a little bit to keep these stations going. These stations are vitally important to the truth movement, because without the 45-plus hosts that are here, you find yourself in a situation that all you have to chew on is the major media networks. I don't know about you, but Fox News is some nasty-tasting beef jerky to me. I can't listen to that. I can't listen to MSNBC because they are doing nothing. They are literally doing nothing. You know, it just happens to be that they're telling us the propaganda and lies that they've told us over and over and over and over again. So until I get my first caller, I'm going to do my standard stream read. But I do encourage people to call in, and we'll determine where we want to go from here. And I know that the amount of email responses that I've had has just been out of this world. All right, so the first part of the stream here, we look into our world of confusion, unity, disunity, and we find ourselves that unity reality is reverse engineering our disunity reality. And our disunity reality is this machine that we live in, this interreactive, interdestructive, non-creative system. I say non-creative because it doesn't allow us to be fully. Oh, we have our first caller, 406. Your name and where you're calling from?
Oh, my name is Robin, and I'm calling from Montana.
Hi, Robin from Montana.
Hi. Yeah, hi. It's pretty warm up here. Anyway, I am in line for somewhere in your 600 people to get a reading.
Yes.
But I was hoping to get just a general scope of what I am, who I am, where I came from. When I was a youngster, pretty sure I had some contact experiences and maybe even abductions. And I learned meditation early at 15, and then things really started to take off. So,
all right. What I need you to do is tell me about the first 10 minutes of your day. Be as specific as possible when you first woke up. And what I'm doing is tuning into the infinite dream world that's you, and then reading how you come into the finite world. So give me about 45, 50 seconds out loud.
Okay. Oh, I can't remember. I woke up naturally, got up and checked the temperature, I believe, and fed the cat, ozonated some water.
All right, I've tuned into you already. You have been abducted multiple times. In your situation, they're harvesting your eggs to save a race because you're related to a race called Zhu'a Nihoya. The Nihoya is a subspecies of, we'll just call them an insectoid-type species, but they have more human DNA in them, and their purpose is to go out and scout New World. That's their basic purpose, but Spiritually, they're a very, very, very advanced society. And at one point in time, you were an egg layer of the society. This one's different than some of the other mantis insectoid species. They don't have a queen. They're soul families. Each soul family has a queen type to it, but there's a master egg layer where all the females give all their energy to a single source for that lifetime, so they're able to produce the maximum volume of the best souls out there, because the actual female head of the soul family does dreamtime journeying, and in that dreamtime journeying you get, how do I put this, to find the best available consciousness exploring souls. And that's what you did for a very, very, very long time. And when you came to incarnate here, they looked at you and said, oh, tasty morsel. And by being here, you put yourself into the thick of it, but you also attracted the rest of your soul family to come here. And you're in this situation where the types of abductions you have was literally to save a race. You have all the DNA codes of the soul children that were already born and the future choice of soul children. A number of the other feminines that were in your, we'll just say, pod had been killed off due to a series of backstabbing type war situations that was caused by a tertiary semi-related species to them, the Kokoi. And when I look in the Akashic record and see this, I've seen this type of interspecies battle before, and this is more of an egoic power battle than it is an actual war. Many of the insect species just simply do not understand war. It's just not in their comprehension. It's not in their food chain. But your species was forced to determine what it would be, and you helped spawn a series of dream warriors. And these dream warriors became to be very, very powerful. Many of them joined the other light consciousness mercenary brigades that sprung up around the 11th and 12th migration into this universe. You understanding what I'm saying?
Wow. I had no idea. Yeah, I'm understanding.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Well, that kind of explains some interactions I've had in my present life with people that seem to want to hunt me down or destroy me. Does that make sense? It's not
hunt you down and destroy you. So you have to see the value is in your DNA, and they need you alive, and they need you relatively happy. And the reason why it's relatively happy is because it allows you to go into the ethers, into the spirit world, and to find the more powerful souls that are willing to come in. You're like a network hub for the souls, and to get you under series of domination control would be their greatest victory, to lure you with your own free will. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
Right.
The domination and control part being the destroying part.
Right.
Okay. Wow. I don't think. How about lifetimes on this planet?
Well, when you came to this world out of a request, actually, from the Lemuria, we'll just call it the second fall of Lemuria. They knew they were losing, and they knew that they were going to lose really, really bad in the Time Wars, and they needed people, other species that were willing to reach out beyond the time stream and find the lost Lemurians that were literally lost in time. And this is where you volunteered to come to Earth during a destructive phase where the planet was very injured. The ground had been hit by multiple, we'll just call them kamikaze heavy metal vessels that hit very powerful points on the Earth that caused a shattering of the crust. And you were there to bring the most powerful land geomancy healers there. So you incarnated on Earth, and right away you were able to recall your powers through the forgetting because of the link into the hive mind of other insects that you have. And you began essentially looking for geomancers to mass incarnate here into Earth. And this is where you took on the responsibility of being of service to Earth, because you had been service to many other planets that were in domination and control. And you found yourself enthralled with Earth, honestly, with its intricate ideas and its intricate concepts that barely anyone else out in the universe really understood how much Earth was involved in inviting the Time Wars there, and how much that its original service as a seventh dimensional galactic seed planet meant so much to every species that was out there. And it brought a layer of soul tears to you, and you made sure that there were multiple parts of your avatar always living here on Earth, just to make sure that the wisdom that you learned then was still connected, that the Earth Mother itself was a very powerful source of energy that we all needed to honor in every way, shape, and form.
Okay. So I seem to have an affinity. I'm not Native American now in this lifetime, but I have those around me who are. I seem to be very resonant with them.
Well, you're going to be resonant with anything that's Earth-based connected. I do see multiple Native American lineages in you, particularly Cherokee and Iroquois. Definitely on the Iroquois side, you were well, I'll just simply call it the Dream Warrior, which is an extension of your collecting of Dream Warriors, in the off-world scenario, because the insects need to be protected because they're not a warring species. And you naturally will migrate to other Dream Warriors, and other Dream Warriors will migrate to you, and you'll essentially make a cell of Dream Warriors that will defend a local area for an extended period of time. Okay. Dreaming should be one of those skills that you look into greatly.
What is that? What skill?
Dreaming, learning how to do.
I do a lot. Very lucid dreaming, a lot. So. But I oftentimes don't understand what it means. So,
okay. Do you have any more questions?
Well, one lucid dream that was recent I'd like to ask about. And I was climbing up a hill, not climbing a steep hill, walking up a hill, in a town in Montana, but not the town I'm living in. But it was very real. I was very physical. I was as I was ascending up the side street on this hill, I looked down to see where I had been. And there was this beautiful, beautiful mountain sticking up, but then there was a pyramid next to it. And I just remember standing there looking at that, thinking how beautiful it was. That's all I remember.
Well, that mountain is actually a very common mountain. I'm actually reading it in your dream world, and that's called the Shaknuaka Yakauchik Mountain. It is a representation of the Dream Warriors world inside the Aurora Borealis of the North Pole of here of Earth. And it's where Dream Warriors from around the galaxy come and assemble to go and basically run special missions inside dream worlds where people are caught in the hell worlds or caught in their own self-destructive modes when they're having night terrors or day terrors. And they go into these hell worlds and pull the consciousness fragments out and return them to the body. It's a way, well, basically dream-weaving soul parts retrieval type missions that they do. And when you see that mountain, it's an indication that you're being asked to do that again. You're being asked to find those skills to do dream retrieval, soul retrieval, because it's the natural function of the type of soul that you are.
Wow, that makes sense. Yes. Okay. Well, I very much look forward to my reading with you Sunday, and thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Let someone else have a turn now.
All right, the next caller is 249. Your name and where you're calling from? 249.
249?
Oh, I think 209.
I'm at 209.
Okay, 209. I'm sorry. Your name and where you're calling from?
Hi, Andrew. This is Cheryl, and I'm calling currently from Sacramento.
Hi, Cheryl from Sacramento. How can I help you today?
Hi. I was blessed to be with you at Mount Shasta last weekend for the wonderful open heart chakra meditation. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Outstanding. I was wondering if the synchronicities would allow someone through then. They did.
Yeah. I know. I'm really so excited. Are you actually doing some readings today?
Yes, I am doing readings today, or sharing what went on when in Mount Shasta, and then giving updates. It was one of the last seconds. I've been so busy and so on the move recording videos that I wasn't able to be secured in a place until just yesterday. We were just traveling and recording videos, and now that we're settled here in Seattle, on a more permanent basis and finishing up the rest of the details with all the videos. I'll be putting another event on in Mount Shasta pretty shortly, actually, and that may have some other big people. 704, you need to turn off your radio, please.
I just did. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So, Cheryl, you want to share anything about Mount Shasta?
Well, it was a phenomenal time. It was just so amazing to be around everyone's energy, and especially to be able to learn from you and to be in your presence as well as Rob Potter and his information. I really appreciated our time, like around the fire circle especially, and even looking and enjoying the amazing photography of extra beings that were with us when we were able to view Elise's photography of our fire circles and meditation times. I'm super excited. I was able to travel with Helen going up to Aseti Ranch this past week as well, right after your event, and it was wonderful to couple those energies as well. And we are truly in amazing times. And as Amelia Benz was stating, it's like the dark is getting darker, but the light is definitely increasing in just amazing ways. So thank you for sharing your wonderful light, Andrew, with all of us, not only in Mount Shasta, but constantly.
Well, I actually got to meet Amelia Benz just after the event. We went down to Sacramento, and great person. I absolutely loved Amelia. And it was so odd as people were commenting, she was finishing my sentences and I was finishing her sentences. And we would talk for nearly 4 hours. It was really just one of those conversations where two peas in a pod met and go, hey, we know each other.
You've just been a complete blessing, haven't you? All the synchronicity that's going on.
Oh, the synchronicities have added up. I mean, it's it's so much into the thousands you can't even count it anymore. There's no reality based in it when you have the layers of synchronicities that have brought people to Mount Shasta, and then the amount of synchronicities that have brought me from Shasta to Sacramento to Seattle and then up to Nia Bay, and the amount of people. My God. My God.
It's like a preview of, I was just listening to Lance's interview with you and Chris and Joel, and it was just wonderful, and I truly resonate with the fact that this is just a sneak preview of what's going to be coming permanently in our realities real soon. It's so exciting.
That's the sneak. Just wait till you get, there's a possibility that me and Amelia will do a specialized webinar strictly on the event and self-exploration. So it's just a matter of lining the timing and getting everything done right. And there's a possibility that Teal Scott may be a part of it too. But we shall see how all the synchronicities align to make that all work.
Great.
Oh, and I will be in Key West in October for the Return to Atlantis seminar with Helene Lipson in 5D Media, which is running that event. So that'll be with Dr. Dream, Laura Eisenhower, Teal Scott, Lisa Renee, and I forgot who else was going to be there. So that'll be another big one. To get me and Laura on the same stage with Teal and Amelia will be kind of interesting.
Right. I had the pleasure of listening to Laura and her husband at the Aseti Ranch this last weekend, and it was really amazing. And she was given a very thorough and quick, of course, rendition of kind of like what you're doing, although I haven't had the pleasure yet to listen to your released videos that will be coming out soon on the Galactic history. But I can see a lot of correlationship in the bits and pieces I hear you sharing. So there was one really fascinating thing that we can't really talk too much about yet, but there is a gentleman at Aseti named Paul who works. Well, I probably shouldn't share this, but maybe offline. I just shared it with Lance White. But it's going to be really, truly amazing in, I think, bringing consciousness to our banking system. So maybe sometime I can talk to you about that. I don't think I should get that out in the public yet until after this occurred in about another month. however, but I would love to have a little reading from you, if that's okay.
Yes. How about you do this? You tell me about the first 10 minutes of your day. Be as specific as possible when you woke up. If you dream, tell me about your dream. And what I'm doing is tuning into the infinite dream world you and how you process yourself into the finite, and I'll be able to give you a reading from there.
Okay. So through the early morning hours, I had my dream crystal underneath my pillow and was connecting with this kind of an energy, processing it, and it was a lot of energy for my brain. So then after I was processing a lot of those type of thoughts and awareness, and I removed the dream crystal, I actually started just putting my beloved dog Sylvester in divine love and light. He just had
All right, I've tuned into you. I've tuned into you. What I'm getting right away is you're actually second species Earth, Lemurian time travel, rebreeding with the new population of Earth. You're what I call rebreeders. There was a situation where the Time Wars had gotten so crazy and so many other races were countering the time changes of other races, and nobody really knew what was going on. It was so bad that you'd start a first species of race, and then an hour later somebody would come back and beat you in time traveling and start another one. Until finally there were 72 first races of Earth. And what your purpose was to come and to interbreed with all 72 of those first races through Time War, so you could make a hybrid species, which is actually what the Lemurians are. They're a hybrid species from these Time Wars, and they never actually knew how deep their own history went. So you're what I call, like I said, a rebreeder whose purpose was to use the time stream and the Time Wars to find the genetic representations of soul family you hadn't met yet, so that you could breed with them, and that the Lemurians would actually have the pool of DNA to work with. And you weren't alone on this. There were millions and millions of others that did this. And these are the Lemurian air cities that I talk about. And what they could do is they could enter the dream world of Earth or any other planet. They're essentially consciousness exploration vehicles that turn into energy. It can go across the galaxies and then hover into the North Pole of any planet and connect them to the actual dream realm of that planet. And what they're doing is they're going there in a non-violent and in a regular way to communicate to the sacred masculine or feminine of that planet to look for people that have these soul codes so that they could complete the Time War code that they were doing, so they could make sure their actual species has a DNA pool to work from the beginning, because so many people had beaten them out Time War-wise. So that's your relation to Lemuria, and when I look at it, your mission still remains the same. You're still looking for the soul codes. You're still looking for the rest of the genetic patterns that made up the pool of DNA that was the first rise of the Lemurian society. Well, there's one little key. The Lemurians that were leapfrogging through time...
Damn this piece of dog shit.
970, you need to mute your mic, please, because we can't hear you. What's going on is... you're in a situation where deep down inside, your mission ain't over. As I was saying, the Lemurians were leapfrogging through time, and they ran across another version of Earth that was not in any of the timeline predictive models. And there were people that looked similar to them, that talked similar to them, that had similar histories to them, and they were never sure if it was an alternate species that just had hijacked. And what they ultimately determined was that those are their actual ancestors, and those were the Atlanteans, who were another time travel race who had figured out about 80% of their DNA codes and remanifested on Earth. And it started one war between Atlantis and Lemuria. It wasn't a really big war, but it was big enough. And it screwed up the time stream wars even more. So what it caused was a massive karmic backlash amongst the timelines. And the timeline backlash essentially just screwed up the work of like other people that were doing what you were doing, because every time Earth was moved from its solar system, the timeline wars of the previous ones ended, and people had to figure out how to enter the time stream and figure out where the planet was moved to.
That resonates so well, because it seems like oftentimes I'm just about ready to do something, and I figure is it really going to be worth it? Because as soon as I finish a project or something big, it seems like things get reversed, you know?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Things just get reversed. Well, I've got to move on to my next caller. I want to thank you very much for coming to the event, and we'll be putting another one on probably in Mount Shasta, and then we'll be putting the webinars together too.
Great. Well, I look forward to joining you soon. Thank you so much, Andrew. We love you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
All right, my next caller is, hold on a second.
It's Susan.
Susan. All right. Susan, are you there? Susan, next caller. Going once. Miss Susan, are you there? Going twice as you're running back to your computer and not trying to spill your coffee. Susan going 3 times, stubbing her toe on the chair. All right, we'll come back to Susan. Who's the next one?
You want to try 324 one more time?
Sure. 324, your name and where you're calling from. 324, are you there?
324.
It could be 249. We called you earlier. 249. Are you on the air?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not that person, but...
Well, we're going to take you because you spoke
Okay.
up first. The synchronicities are abound. Your name and where you're calling from, 701.
My name is Shannon. I'm calling from North Dakota.
Hi, Shannon from North Dakota. How can I help you today?
Yes, I was really interested when you talk about star families as whole families. I was wondering what family I came from.
Sure. How did you find out about the show?
Oh, I've been listening for quite some time. I've just never called in.
Just never called in? Did you start with Walking in Energies, or you just been listening to Revolution Radio here and me do these
Oh,
readings?
just listening to Revolution Radio, basically.
Cool. I'm just trying to figure out where everyone comes from, because we each hold a little piece to the puzzle, and Revolution Radio has been outstanding friends of the show, and I want to thank Hans and Nighthawk for holding space for me to keep the show going while I expanded tenfold and got this video and this book situation going, and so I want to thank them. Anyway, so what I need you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of the day. Be as specific as possible when you first woke up. What I'm doing is tuning into the infinite you who's adjusting to be the finite you. Give me about 45, 50 seconds out loud.
Okay, I woke up this morning. I laid in bed for a while thinking about the dream I was just having and wondering why I would have such a dream. And after a while, I
What was
decided...
your dream about?
I was just talking to one of my friends, and we were discussing how we had to watch some soap operas, which I never watched, so I thought that was weird because I don't watch soap operas. And so then I decided, well, that dream doesn't really mean anything, so I decided to get up and go on with my day.
All right, I've tuned into essentially who you are, and I'm looking at your ancestrage, and you're straight up Nakota. You came here as a refugee species from Alcyon, the Pleiades, but you were also a refugee species from another planet before you were taken in by Alcyon, and before that you were another refugee species. Your original home world is called Gioyaka, which is a home world of the ant species of Hollow Earth. This is kind of interesting. I don't really run into this that often. Are you familiar with the Hollow Earth ant species, the ant people?
Well, I've heard of the whole Earth, but not the ant species.
Have you heard any Native American stories about the ant people that rescued the red race and brought them through the tunnels?
No.
Well, this is you. This is you living back and forth between those lifetimes of making sure that the younger souls always had a guide from one planet to the next planet to the next planet, because essentially what you were doing was making sure that when a planet was dying or passing on its species so it can go into regeneration mode, you made sure that the powerful people or the young souls got off the planet and had a home to go to, and another home to go to, and another home. You made sure that they were being nurtured in a sacred feminine way on a planet that can give them an opportunity to go to consciousness exploration. So you're like a strange mix between Pleiadian, human, and insectoid.
Okay.
And I see this. I don't frequently see it on the radio because they're extremely, extremely secretive about what they do. It's like, I quite expect to be having one of the ant people to give me a middle mandible here in a second and tell me to shut up. Because, yes, they do very, very, I actually see people that are just regular humans, but they have parts body language where they put their hands up by their mouth and they just wiggle their hands around, and actually see insectoid body language coming out of them.
Okay.
It's, how do I put this? You're here to be a way keeper, making sure that, the path from point A to point B to point C is well marked, that there's teachers along the way, that there's food and water along the way, and that there's love along the way. You're here to make sure the path is lit, and if there are teachers needed, you will step forward in any way, shape, or form that you could. You understand what I'm saying on there?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, do you have any questions about that?
No, I guess I'll look that up and read about, the ant people.
Yeah, read about ant people. Look in some of the Native American myths about the ant people that led people through the tunnels. The Navajo and the Apache too. They have many, 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 many representations to that. A little bit more. One of your past lives that's coming right away is France. During the times that the guillotine was flowing really, really big.
Yeah.
You were a person that would drop the guillotine on people. And that was that was you balancing karma for all the negativity that had been done to you for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And the reason this comes up now is it seems karmically wise, many of those people that were offed with their heads are around you now.
Okay.
All right? But they're in a neutral karmic state. They're not. They've healed what they needed to heal. All right? And there could be natural feminine or masculine social grumblings between them, and some of those old past life issues of neck injuries, throat injuries can become apparent to them. And if you see people with, sore throats, scars on their neck, give them a little extra time. People that have throat cancer or just people that are having throat or neck issues, maybe go out and learn a healing skill or take on, some, private people that you can do some hands-on healing with. That would rocket you forward into a karmic understanding of that this neutral karmic state you have in is a gift being offered to you by them for the lesson you taught them on the guillotine. Okay. Any other questions?
No, it's very interesting. I guess that's why I was always fascinated with Tale of Two Cities, I like that.
Oh, yeah. Dickens.
Right. Well, thank you very much. It's very informative.
Well, thank you. I'm going to move on to the next caller. We will try 249 again.
249.
Well, Susan, you're there. All right, we're going to go with Susan. You were on the list. Susan, are you there? Susan, going once, going twice. I believe they are just listening to the show.
You might want to try area code 970. You're on the air. Your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yes. Hello. This is Michael from Colorado.
Hey, Michael from Colorado. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Andrew. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
You're sounding full of energy.
Oh yeah, nonstop energy. I'm a little rolling ball in no time over here, and all the people over here have to make frequent comments how when you stand around me and I'm doing what it is that I do, that time stops for a while.
Yeah, it really seems like you're in your moment and you're in the moment. It's great.
Oh yeah, you got to live in the moment. You can't live in the past or the future, otherwise you're just ineffective as a person.
Yes.
So how can I help you today?
I'd like to get a short reading from you if I could.
Okay. How'd you find out about the show?
Oh, actually, I've sort of heard Wolf. I just listened to Wolf Spirit. I listened to all the folks, and I actually heard you real early on, actually, when you first started doing all this.
Very cool. So you're an old timer. You've been around the energy for a while.
Oh, absolutely.
What have you seen in a change since you've been listening?
In the program?
Yeah, the program in general. What you've been hearing. What has been your perception?
Well, overall, I get the sense that basically all of a sudden everybody is starting to hear things that they were never able to hear before.
Right.
And that's the beautiful. I mean, that's why I listen to it. It's like I listen to this to be fed, not to try and undo it.
Very cool. That's really I like the way to be fed. Thank you very much. All right, so what I need you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of the day. Be as specific as possible when you first woke up. And what I'll do is tune into your infinite dream world and how you adjust to be in the finite world. Give me about 45, 50 seconds out loud.
Sure. Well, this morning I woke up and I woke up to the purring of my my big orange cat who always comes over and sees me in the morning, and it's like waking up to.
I've already tuned in. I've already tuned into you. You're Lyrian. Meow meow meow. I have met a massive amount of Lyrians in the last 30 hours.
Oh,
it is literally like a feral herd of Lyrian cats that are suddenly meow meowed, appeared around me, and are dancing and frolicking.
You're the catnip.
I'm the catnip. Yes, I'm the spiritual catnip. All right. When I look into your Lyrian heritage, right away I see a warrior side of you. And this warrior side, the best way to describe it is there's an interaction between male and female Lyrians, and it's not physical war as much as it is mate battling. Okay? So they'll go into this ritual chest butting, tail interaction, just something that looks like a flying furball mess that's really loud but doesn't actually hurt people. Yeah. And this could go on for hours and hours and hours until finally the female says no and chooses which one they're going to pick. And you were like a trainer of how to help the female and the male stay in the endurance of that psychic energy, because as the two males are rolling around hissing and screaming and furballs flying, they're actually entering a psychic state in which they're purposely not trying to hurt each other, or they're trying to get in tune with their masculine energy to essentially up the bar of energy more and more and more and more, so that the feminine part of the Lyrian side sees this whirling dervish of energy and understands that the soul inside that body is here to complete an energetic mission. It needs the highest vibration female to bring in the next layer of children in the soul family. And you were one of those trainers, one that would teach the women and the men how to reach those highest levels of energy. And this is reflective in your life today, too, of how you reach the highest level of energy. You understand what I'm saying with this?
Oh, yes.
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 Are you a galactic cat man?
Hey, wherever the cats are, that's where I'd like to be, yes.
Oh, meow, meow, meow.
Oh, yes.
All right. Do you have any questions about that?
Well, it's so what you're talking about then essentially is really kind of like balancing the male and female side.
Absolutely, and the ability to stay at the highest vibration. And one of those psychic skills for you would be literally to be an observation teacher mode when people are trying to raise energies. And you can use your natural intuitive skills in a non-sexual situation. It's just literally to show people where their energy is at 5% and their belief that 5% is 100%, when in actuality they're only at 5% energy. And that would be one of those psychic skills that you would rapidly advance at.
Great.
What do you do for a job now?
I work on the computer. I do drawings, architectural type stuff, technical drawings for engineers and that sort of thing.
You ever looked into consciousness exploration stuff? Other books like that, or?
Oh, I've been involved in that sort of stuff for probably, I don't know, since about the 80s. It's just that I find that I can work with computers very easily, so I tend to do that just to put something on the table in that way. But yeah, it's just a matter of time of when and where.
Well, I find a lot of people in the computer industry are able to easily transition into spiritual concepts simply because they already have the processing skills for the data that they receive during in normal bouts of enlightenment that we all get.
Uh-huh.
It's just a matter of giving yourself the space to allow the experience and then to process it and to be willing to do the experience a second, third, fourth, or fifth time. In general, it doesn't matter who you are. By the time you're going after the experience the second or third time, that's where doubt comes in. When the doubt comes in, you find yourself in limitation. And once you're in limitation, you have expectations. And expectations are what create and color the experience.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. Well, I've just found that as long as I'm looking for the fastest path to my joy, that is usually going to be the place I'm going to be finding.
That's right. That's right. Joy is so absolutely needed in our lives now. There's so many angry and sad people out there. I wish I could be able to share, just an ounce of the experience that I've had, and I know that would fill them with light and love for just long enough to say, hey, there's more than the sadness in the world we're creating inside ourselves.
Absolutely. It's like I'm happy to be here and I'm ready for more.
That's right. Okay, do you have any other questions?
No, that's. Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you so much, and bless you. And I know things will.
Oh yes, well, thank you much. We're going to move on to the next caller. So Hans, who do we got for the next one?
Let's try Susan one more time. She reconnected. Susan, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Hello.
All right, Susan, you are the next contestant on Adventures in Reality. Come on down.
I can hear you.
Yay. So, how can I help you today?
Hi, Andrew. So glad to talk to you.
So glad to talk to you. Happy 4th to you, too.
I was just interested in a reading and maybe a little talk about crystals as well.
How'd you find out about the show?
Oh, I've been listening to you for months and months.
Months?
Yes.
Just decided to call in today, huh?
Uh-huh.
Random synchronicity.
Revolution Radio.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com.
That's
Anyways,
right.
what I need you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of the day. Be as specific as possible when you first woke up, and I will help you understand what's going on in your finite world. We've got about 4.5 minutes to break, so if you hear music, stay online. And when we come back from the other side of the break, I will continue your reading. And that goes for anyone else that's on the line here. So when you hear music, please keep your mics muted. Remind everybody, Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com and Wolf Spirit Radio, which simulcast this show, are listener supported. So please stop on by those site support buttons and drop something in that helps keep the station going. It is only through the support of the individual users who like this content that this station moves forward higher and higher and higher. So remind that Revolution Radio and Wolf Spirit Radio are both listener supported, and any of those others that are delay casting this show or using it on their website, I want to thank you very, very much, and everyone be prepared for a massive release of videos here in the next week or so, and it's all going to be a whole lot of bags and chips and beef jerky for you all gnaw away at. Anyway, so why don't you tell me about your first 10 minutes a day?
Well, I woke up very early, and then I went back to sleep, and I woke up again and leaned over and petted my chihuahua, tickled him, and had a drink of water while I was still in bed.
All right, I've tuned into you right away, and you're a Lyrian
Really?
also. You're Lyrian-Syrian mix. During the Syrian-Lyrian wars, I'm not trying to be poetic here, actually. And there was a. I hate keep using this word war, but this was a. How do I put this? A fight for soul exchanges. People wanted to get the best of the best of the best psychics, healers into their area, and they did whatever they could do to lure people from one world to the other, and to be honest about it. I offer you this to come here, I'll offer you this to come here, and I'll offer you this to come here. And what made you in the unique situation is you were a recruiter. You would go from other planet to other planet to other planet as a consciousness exploration vehicle. And you would literally land on the planet in energy vibration and then bond with a local shaman of that planet and then begin to recruit people that when their lifetime on this planet was done, that they would go to the astral world and then begin new contracts with the planet that you were recruiting for. And you would actually recruit for several dozen different planets. And when I look at you, I see a person who has several networked avatars with several thousand little pieces, parts, and you're able to control them all and get all these big projects done while you're still here on Earth. It's like you're the head management here, and all the avatars and pieces, parts you have the complete concept of the program you're running, and they're just funneling all these different people to the Earth-based planet while you're here sitting and waiting for your graduation. That's essentially what I'm seeing for you. Is this making sense to you?
It kind of does. That's very interesting. It kind of does. I guess I didn't expect to hear that, but it sounds like me.
Sounds like you.
Yeah.
Are you a micromanager at times?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This
Yes.
is you.
To other people's chagrin sometimes. But
Oops,
yes,
it's okay.
definitely. Definitely I am. I'm glad to know that I'm of help to people.
Well, you are. You're a great help to people, and there are many, many, many souls that are offering you favors in return because you got them out of a broken cycle of incarnation on the other worlds they were in, and you showed them a whole new fun way to live. I mean, and not everybody was trapped here on Earth. There are other people in other places that just had really, really good times, and they have a big respect for you. And don't be surprised here for the next several months that you actually start getting communications from some of these old people that are much more aware than they were before.
Oh, good. I would love that. Thank you so much, Andrew.
You are so welcome. Do you have any more questions? We only got about a minute before the music kicks in here, and I believe, Hans, we have, what, a 3-minute or 4-minute break lined up?
Yeah, about 4-minute break, Andrew.
About a 4-minute break, cool. Do you want to ask another question?
Well, about crystals for pain.
Okay, crystals for pain are absolutely perfect. You know, when you find the pain, rub over it. Feel if there's a little bubble of energy, a little water energy underneath there. And put the crystal on the spot and put some medical tape over it. I also recommend the silver salt and sage, where it's just a little Ziploc bag with some quarter to half cup of silver, a single crystal, anything that's silver, a silver ring or a silver dime, and some sage.
Okay.
And put that over the spot, and that increases your healing many, many, many-fold. The salt neutralizes, the sage brings the plant energy, and the crystal does the deep energy work. And the silver, the silver is the purifying.
That's right. I've heard you say that before. And I have sea salt and Himalayan salt.
Very good. Any salt, any type of salt that's not been iodized, that's not been ground. You want bigger chunks of salt. So like regular kosher salt at the lower end of the grain. So anything bigger, anything at kosher salt, kosher sea salt level to bigger is outstanding material.
Well, thank you, Andrew. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
It's been a joy listening to you all this time.
And it's been a joy coming back on the radio after a 3-week break. It's been a while since I've had that kind of a break.
Yeah, we've missed you.
Oh, I've
Very
missed
much.
all of you, too. I missed all of you, too.
Well, you take care.
Okay.
From sunny South Naples, Florida.
Hello,
Hey.
James.
Hey, guys. Hey, Andrew.
How you doing today?
Doing excellent, thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. How did you find out about the show?
Let's see. It was a combination of Chris Hales and Julian Wells.
Outstanding. Julian Wells has actually been staying here at the house here with us, so we've been doing quite a few recordings, so you'll be getting a lot from Julian also.
Oh, awesome. He's amazing. He's
He's amazing.
Really
He's
come
gone.
into his own.
I saw him go through an incredible healing and change in Mount Shasta, and the joy in his face was just an absolute pleasure to see. And everyone else that gone there to just let go of the world for a little bit and allow themselves to get into them true selves and the protection of the sacred mountain energies. It's just absolutely wonderful just to see him to go through his own personal change that wasn't difficult. It was really easy for him because he already has all the skills.
That's awesome. Hey, I also wanted to give a shout out and thank you, Nikki, when you had her on covering for you. She was awesome. I called into the show, talked to her, and actually had a reading with her.
Oh, she's awesome.
And,
She actually just landed here in Seattle. She just pulled into the house about 15 minutes ago. So I flew her up
You
here.
guys are having a regular party.
Oh yeah, we're having a big party. There's about 8 people in the house and four more people out in Nia Bay that we're gonna go to some. So we'll do some wonderful stuff. Go see some fireworks and go ride boats and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you want to get a reading today?
Yeah, I would love to. I have signed up to get an official full reading with you, but, that will probably take a little time. And so I thought, well, if I can get in, I'd love to get just a little brief reading and kind of maybe
Kind of get a little steam valve. Yeah. All right, so what I need you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of the day, be as specific as possible when you first woke up, and what I'm tuning is to the infinite dream world you, into the how you process into being the finite you.
Okay, well, obviously I did wake up and kind of lazed around in bed, which is not normal, but woke up, made a cup of coffee, kind of lounged about, kind of relaxing day since I'm off, and was reflecting on and I don't remember my dreams often.
All right, I've tuned into you.
Okay.
And the first thing that I get out of you is I'm going to call it the Red Jaguar Clan. You guys have been popping up more and more and more. Red Jaguar Clan is representative of the early Olmec Mayan crossover situation. And the Olmecs were the precursor seriously to the Mayans, and then the Toltecs were the precursor situation to the Olmecs, and then the Olgan were the precursor to that. You have essentially been living in the South American, Guatemalan, Belize, Aztec, between Mexico and Peru area, many thousands of lifetimes. That was you and your purpose, and you had been leapfrogging from lifetime to lifetime, making sure that there were people out there that were collecting the items that fell from the sky. And when I say items, be it a device that was brought by a divine god, or if it was a meteorite that hit the ground. And you would make whole sects of people who would get up and travel and look for the desert lands or the dry lands or the highlands, and would look for people that reported about specialized meteor showers. And you would go and hunt for these meteor rocks. And they'd be brought back to a central area where the craftsmen were, and they'd be made into sacred objects. And then you would take those sacred objects out to the new shamans of the world, because you were a seeker, essentially. And your purpose was to find the people that were hidden amongst the tribes that were the most powerful star watchers you could find. And that's essentially what the Red Jaguar Clan's main purpose is to identify the star patterns that are up there beyond the disunity consciousness of what we have right now. And during the Mayan days, if you lived in England, you saw one view of the stars. And if you lived in the Aztec or Mayan areas, you saw a different view of the stars. There wasn't a unity view of the star patterns in the skies, because the way Earth was set up, it's a disunity reality. And this disunity reality means that we are the co-creating vision of what the skies actually look like. And the Red Jaguar Clan's purpose was to go to the other realities and to make a more accurate mapping of what the sky would look like as a consciousness explorer for a person who's bound with the Earth Mother in their heart, a person that has experienced the heartbeat of Earth Mother and understands that her rhythms, patterns, and rhymes are constantly interacting with our soul vibes. Understanding this?
I do. I've never heard of the Red Jaguar clan, so that's fascinating. I've always felt more connected to the Asian, like the monk kind of side of things, and
that's the other part of your life. This was the foundation. When you came here from another world, I'm trying to give an accurate description. It's a.
You said thousands of lifetimes. No wonder I'm so exhausted.
Oh yeah, you definitely are ready for your graduation. You've already had your kegger party of a lifetime, and then they're just sitting there in hangover recovery mode. I'm going to describe your race, and it's when I say hybrid, we have too many linguistics in our world that make it negative. In reality, in the unity reality of the way things function. What you are is a group of soul families who came together and just said, all right, here's my DNA wisdom, here's your DNA wisdom, let's all incarnate onto a brand new planet with no karma between us and just let us breed together. And so you're a breeding world where souls from the many other thousands of good worlds out there can come and bring their DNA wisdom so it can be shared with the whole, because Earth right now is holding up the graduation process of thousands and thousands and thousands of other worlds because they haven't allowed a graduating class here in 38,000 years. So we're so bloated full of people that need to get the heck off this planet that quite literally the other ascension processes of other worlds are on hold until we figure out a way to break the quarantine here and get our consciousness and sovereignty back to the people. And that's what you're here for. You made sure that you were going to be in the thick of the thick of the thick as a star watcher, because it is in the power of watching the stars and the wonderment of the star watching that we begin to understand that our heritage is out there and in here at the same time. And when we look into the vast expanse of the stars, you'll begin to realize that there is an influence from the consciousness that's here on this planet at what we can perceive. And when you allow yourself to see beyond the veil of separation that keeps the true star patterns from there, it's where you'll connect to your past lives that viewed the stars and allow you to overlay it onto the view of what there is today. And that's one of those things that you should take into a high level of skill for your life now, star watching, and allowing yourself to create the vision of that past life star watcher, because you have the star maps in you. And you're one of those people after the event and after the change that you have so many original star maps that you'll be sharing this information with other people that want to return home, but they're not going to want to go on vessels offered by other alien races. They just will not be in a trusting state because of all the crap that's happened here. So what you'll do is you'll provide them the information on the maps, and they'll literally create their own consciousness exploration vehicles out of crystals. I mean, at first they'll look kind of hillbilly, these vessels that people create, almost like a house with a bunch of metal plates on it. And then they put a unity consciousness drive inside the house, and it can dissolve from this reality and become energy and then travel to any other planet in the galaxy. And, like I said, it'll look a little bit hillbilly-ish because in a consciousness exploration vehicle, all you're doing is taking a home, turning it to energy, and then traveling someplace and then setting the home down somewhere else in an environment that may not be hospitable to the home's original place.
Right.
And
so when you say star watching, do you mean like go buying a telescope and just start looking at the sky kind of thing, or actually getting books out and studying the stars, or what do you mean?
What I'm actually saying is just to sit out there on a lawn chair and allow yourself to view the stars. And when you want, get a set of binoculars, those are cheap. And when you're ready to get a telescope, get one. Okay. It is an advancing of the skill, but once you start to get back into the true wonderment of the stars and saying, what is disunity consciousness hiding from you in those stars? And ask your higher soul, your higher self to give you the true impeccable vision of the stars, is when much of your natural psychic powers are going to really just unfold until you're just at this awe and wonderment of the skies.
Okay.
It would be a very good idea for you to go buy a meteorite from a rock shop or get one for yourself.
I do have a part meteorite. I can't think of the name of it. Oh God!
I do have some. If you'd have one, that's cool. And a good thing to do is just to hold it in your hand over your heart and just allow yourself to feel the energy of the space so that your brain and your consciousness pattern begins to understand what space energy feels like. And then you'll be able to use the stone as the anchor point to project your consciousness beyond the disunity reality that we're living in right now and allow yourself to be in the unity reality of the void of space that has the projection of the stars from other places.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Well, more mundane, and maybe what you just shared with me kind of answers this, but I feel a lot of energy, and I've been feeling a lot of energy for quite some time. I feel regular downloads, but I feel like I'm in a hamster wheel. Like I'm getting all this energy, but I feel like my life is just in limbo, and I'm not making any headway in any particular direction.
Your life is in limbo now because there isn't the awe and wonderment of the Red Jaguar clan in your life right now. And when I see Red Jaguar clan people pop up in these live shows, it's literally because the Akashic record is a marker stone for those souls' evolution, and it's saying that this, beyond your spirit contracts and your rules with your DNA lineage, your most important spiritual talent lies within watching the star patterns and getting to that awe and wonderment stage. And in that awe and wonderment stage is where you unlock your past lives at a level like you've never experienced before.
Okay. So that's what I thought. What you shared kind of answers that question. I do have kind of more of a mundane situation, and I'm just it's kind of been rattling my cage, so to speak, and unfortunately it's going to happen. Is in the course of a divorce, and we have a 19-month-old son, and he's awesome, and I really just don't know what direction to go with all that.
I do have a bit of advice for you. Make the divorce as easy as possible on you, your son, and your wife. When you find yourself saying no, 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 ask why you're saying no. If somebody is overreaching in the request for the divorce, you have to say, I have to live and survive. I cannot be at the lowest level of energy. Whether the divorce is good or bad, it will determine how you react or interact with it or co-create with it. In the reaction phase in these emotional divorce, children are the batteries of energy. They just sponge up and absorb everything. So it's important that the separation time, obviously, you and your wife are going to have arguments. Just don't have them in front of the child.
Right.
Vitally important. And if you are having an argument, don't go and pick the child up 5 seconds afterwards.
Right.
And there's so many mothers that do that. And honestly, that's psychic vomit all over your kid when you do that, ladies. If you're arguing with your husband and you run over and pick up your kid as an anchor, that kid has just absorbed that entire argument and has no idea what it's about.
Yep. And that's happening. Well, we're not together, but we're not together, but you made a good point. Yeah, you made a good point, because I'm like wanting to go in there and kind of fight like tooth and nail.
Right.
But what you're saying is kind of back off and respect my peace.
Yeah, but at the same time, you got to realize what the argument's doing to the child.
Yep.
If you learn how to clean your energy field via smudging or saltwater baths or showers, you're doing good. You're doing the hard work. You're doing the nurturing work, because you realize that your son's at this stage where psychically he's totally exposed to all of the emotional energies between you and your separated wife or ex-wife.
Okay.
Well, I need to move on. To the next caller.
Yes, thank you very much, and I look forward to our reading.
Okay, you are welcome.
And enjoy the rest of the day. And hi to Julian and Nikki.
All right, cool. 570,
All right,
you're the next caller. 570, are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. What's your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Mary from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Mary from Pennsylvania. How'd you find out about the show?
I found out through my sister.
Through your sister? Is this your first time listening to the show?
Yeah.
So you've never heard me do readings before other than today?
Yeah.
Well, isn't this a treat? Ring-a-ding-ding-ding. I need my first-time caller bell, and I don't have it over here. So how can I help you today?
I was just listening, and I guess I'm just looking for a reading since you answered my call.
Okay. Well, what I need you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of the day. Be as specific as possible when you first woke up. And what I'm doing is tuning into the infinite dream world you in the process that you do to become the finite awake person in this disunity reality. So give me about 45, 50 seconds out loud, and I'll tune into you.
I woke up. My sister stopped over, so I woke up and talked to her for a few minutes. I don't know, I was kind of tired, but I just stayed up, and she told me that your show is coming on, so I waited, just listening now.
Okay, well, I need you to tell me more about right literally when you woke up. That's where I'm tuning in as the process of you waking up. So just tell me, like, did you rub your eyes? Did you go to the bathroom right away?
No, I woke up because my sister was knocking on my door, so I got out of bed. Oh.
Okay. I need you to tell me more. That's not enough. I have to tune into your vibrations. Just keep talking.
Sorry. I don't know. I woke up because my sister knocked on my door, and she was here right away. We started talking, and I don't know. And she left after a few minutes, and I stayed up.
Okay, I need a little bit more than that. I tune into the vibration of who you are. Just your sister knocking on the door is just not enough information for me to tune into. So, what did you dream last night?
No.
No. When's the last time you
But
dreamed?
I'm aware.
When's the last time you had a dream?
A while. Well, bits and pieces.
Okay. Well, I've tuned into you, and right away your spirit guides are coming forward to me and describing a series of dramatic situations that's going on in your life right now. And they're very, very, very concerned that you're overreacting to some of these dramatic situations that have been brought to you. Are you going through a breakup or a loss of a job?
No.
No? What's going on in your life here that they're so concerned?
Who is concerned?
Your spirit guides.
Oh. I don't know. I'm sorry. Honestly, this is a little bit too much for me. I don't know if I can really continue talking to you right now.
Okay, well then why don't you call in? Why don't you call in another day then?
Okay, thanks.
All right. All right. So Hans, who's the next caller?
Area code 612. You're on the air. Your name and where you're calling from, please. 612.
612.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing today, 612? Your name and where you're calling from?
Hi, Andrew. My name is Lee. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Hi.
Hi, Andrew. I just started listening to you with Walking in Energy and Chris Hales and OPT. And I was kind of following you, and you went to Mount Shasta, and I really wanted to join everybody there, but I just couldn't manage to get there. So I'm really glad to be able to talk to you.
Okay, can you pull the phone away from your head a little bit? You're really, really loud. You're blowing out my ears here. Or lower the volume just a little bit. All right, how's that? Ah, that's much better. So you found out from the Walking in Energy show. So how can I help you today?
Well, I was wondering if you could help me with any spiritual guidance with the energy that seems to be going through me all the time. It's like
extremely strong flowing energy, and it has to do with people all the time going through my head, like people that I don't even know just start flying through my head. I see faces. It's kind of strange. It's been bugging me. And I just wondered if you could see anything about that.
How long has this been going on for?
Oh, about a year.
Have you ever done a soul retrieval?
No, I have not.
Do you know what it is?
Kind of. I know of the soul fragments everywhere from any direction. Could be any place. But I don't really know how to actually retrieve any of it.
Well, you're in a situation where you won't be able to retrieve it on your own. It might come a little shock to you is you've had a whole series of psychic surgeries done on you. Do you remember being abducted as a kid?
No, I just have near-death experiences when I was really young, like at 2 weeks old and then about 2 years old, that have kind of come back to me in kind of strange visions that I don't really quite understand.
Okay. Did you ever get the story from your parents of how you died or how you had a near-death experience at that age? So were you in the hospital?
Yeah, in a hospital. Yeah, I had to have surgery when I was 2 weeks old on my stomach because the food wasn't going through. All I did was throw up for 2 weeks after I was born, and I was severely dehydrated, and I had to stay in the hospital and have surgery.
All right. Well, what I'm getting from you is there is a serious level of you need to stay in this world no matter how much the energies are trying to kick you out. So what went on is there was a whole series of psychic surgeries on you where certain parts of your spirit were limited from interacting with this world because it would have mean you would have been kicked out immediately. You came here under broken rule spirit contracts, and when they began to redefine the rules, you fell into the very gray area of a being who was way too powerful to interact with this world with the type of system of domination and control that they were bringing in. They made absolutely sure that people like you couldn't get in here, and you still figured out a way to get in here. So the type of soul surgery that was psychic soul surgery that was done on you was to literally remove the parts of you that made you super powerful and super connected on a psychic level. So you're hamstringed this lifetime. And for you to come into your power, it's about learning journeying, soul journeying. And then from learning soul journeying, it's having someone teach you how to do soul retrieval. And honestly, it's going to take you a while because you've got some parts that are really, really, really deep out. When I was up in Mount Shasta, I did a soul retrieval for a young lady that she's been abducted since she was like 10 years old, and she's had all of her eggs from her uterus and from her egg sacs taken. By the time she was 16, she was completely, they had taken every possible egg that was in there. And she just had cysts that were replacing it. Did you ever have cysts on your ovaries?
No. I just had an experience a few years ago where I was my menstrual cycles are all really heavy, and a couple of years ago I had it really bad. I ended up in an emergency room, and I had to have an emergency procedure done to burn the inside of the uterus out, so that I wouldn't have the bleeding anymore. But I didn't have to have surgery.
How old are you?
I'm 53.
You're 53.
Yeah.
Did they tell you why you had a bleed there?
Pardon, I can't hear you very good. Why I had a what?
Why you were having a bad menstrual bleeding cycle at that age? Did they ever tell you why?
No, No, there was nothing wrong inside as far as cysts or cancer or anything inside.
Well,
I'm
in this scenario. I don't know if I want to tell you on air, but it may not be appropriate on air. But that's up to you. That's up to you. I mean, it's a little unsettling because you essentially had a child taken out of you.
Had a child what?
Taken out of you.
I did?
Yeah.
Physically or alien? What do you mean?
Human child.
A human child.
It was implanted in you as a temporary mother. They took it out of someone else who has essentially gave up on living in this world, and you had a spirit contract with that other person that if they ever decided they needed to go before graduation, there's like the person that decides to quit school and just basically they off themselves, and they figured out a way to get past the incarnation grid and the reincarnation grid, and a contract kicked in place, and the only people that were able to facilitate this contract were off-world entities that are servicing the soul families, and they had to put the baby in you temporarily until they were able to find a mother who would take up the contracts of a very powerful child.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah. I find this in a number of women, especially ladies at the nursing homes, that they frequently get used for this scenario. It's a bit of a violation of free will, and at the same time, you made a contract. In emergency situations, they could temporarily use your womb as a holding space for a child.
Wow. So what does that mean? As far as healing that, what should I be doing?
It's you having to come to the determination of how far down the rabbit hole of wisdom you want to go, learning soul journeying, and then finding a teacher that will teach you soul retrieval and then hold space for you so you can retrieve the soul parts enough so you can do it on your own. You're going to be in a situation, it'll be many months before you have the skills to be able to do it on your own. It requires a tremendous amount of focus and a tremendous amount of energy to stay in the questing vision, so you can actually find the soul parts. And then once you do, there's a great amount of tearing and body shaking as you reintegrate those parts. So it's really not something you're going to be able to do on your own unless you have a support crew around you that's willing to hold space. Honestly.
Okay.
Do you have any type of spiritual support crew around you, like a meditation group or anything like that, some healers that are around you?
No, I don't really. I've been looking for someone that...
It sounds like we're back now. All righty.
Hello? Oh, okay. I'll call back again.
No, we're here. We're fine. We just had a little bit of technical difficulty there. Anyway, so
okay.
It's no big deal. Every now and then Skype has a little burp inside it, and it takes a while for Skype to figure out it actually burped. So we were talking about a support group and a support structure for you. It's going to be vital that you do that. Really vital.
All right. Okay. I should look for something that can help me with not just the energy then, but with soul retrieval.
Right. That's going to be one of your year-long focuses, is finding someone that can teach you soul retrieval and be able to willingly hold space for you while you do it, simply because you need people to hold the energy so you don't overflow with energy when you start retrieving soul parts.
Okay. And is this just for me, or is it for all these people that I keep seeing?
The reason you keep seeing all those people is because they're soul fragments that you're connecting to in dream time, because you're the master avatar that created them all.
Okay. All right.
I mean, you're literally only 20% of the person that you are right now.
Wow. Okay.
That's how much you still got out there, waiting for you to figure out where it is and say, "Hey, come home, party's here, reunion."
Okay. All right. I've been trying to find people more, in a spiritual community type thing, but I just keep running into the same old, go to work, come home, have a beer, watch the game kind of thing. So
that's got to end. At least it's got to cut it down by half, so you have more opportunity to find the energy, the time, the motivation to say, these are my soul parts, and it is my sovereign free will to be a unified being in this life.
All right. Do you have any suggestions for a group like that?
Where are you at right now? What station? Where? What?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
I'm not familiar with Minneapolis, Minnesota, but I'm sure there are groups there. Why don't you start looking for drummer groups?
Drummer?
Dancing or drumming groups. I know that there's Native Americans out there that can open Sweat Lodge.
Yeah.
And what about the medicine?
Medicine sounds good.
Okay. So do you have any other questions?
Okay. I'll look into that. Thank you very much, and that was very interesting. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to move on to the next caller here. I've only got about 18 minutes left. And
Okay.
Hans, who we got for the next caller?
The next caller, Andrew, is area code 443. You on the air? Your name and where you calling from, please?
Hi, Andrew. Hi, Hans. It's Lisa from Baltimore, Maryland. How are you?
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm so glad to hear you post Shasta. You sound so refreshed.
Oh yes, I am living the dream here, living the synchronicities. Even from the moment that I woke up, the synchronicities started. From Mac to PC to Hans coming in and helping out because Andre is in Australia time and needed some time off because he's been working hard while I was away.
Mm-hmm.
So how can I help you today?
I was wondering if I could get a quick reading, please.
Sure. So what I need you to do is tell me about your first 10 minutes of the day. Be as specific as possible when you first woke up. And then I will tune into your infinite dream world and how you tune in, how you become the finite person.
Okay, well, I woke up really early, hit the snooze button, went back to sleep. Then woke up a little later, was wondering why I had dreamt of basil, and regrouped myself, and as I was walking up the stairs, I had a super flash of remembrance of all the insights that I got yesterday, and it made me really excited. And proceeded to make a little breakfast, drink a little tea, went outside, stepped out on the grass barefoot, saw that it was a beautiful day, came back in, greeted the cats.
All right, I've tuned into you. Have you been having any medical issues the last couple months?
Excuse me?
Any medical issues the last couple months?
Not that I know of. I haven't seen a doctor in a while.
The reason why I asked, there's this gray energy that's inside your liver, your stomach, your lower intestines, your upper intestines, your lungs, and this is representative of energy you've taken from others that are heavily depressed. Do you work around depressed children, battered children or adults?
Not children. No, I do help people with their life struggles, and I think that the people that I interact with are kind of shielding their depression.
Well,
or not showing it. Yeah.
805, you need to mute your mic. I hear a whole lot of wind and stuff coming from you. In fact, we're probably going to have to clear off the board a little bit. So hold on a second here. What I'm sensing here is you're a heavy duty empath. You're like, think of an inmate escapes a prison. The first thing they do is get the dogs out and give it a scent, and then the dogs go out and lead the people to where the prisoner is. I'll take away the negative concepts of this, and you're like the dog that can sniff out the depression. You know what I'm saying? And all you do is you get right into the energy, and it's like this tube attaches to their depression, and you suck it out of them and put good energy back into them. And I see this frequently. This is part of a healing system that was invented during the final fall of Atlantis, when they knew they had already lost everything, that the only thing they could do is put as many healing techniques into the system as possible so that they would naturally just follow the phase of generations. You know, one generation people will work on this sound healing. A generation later, no one will do sound healing, but they'll figure out something else and something else. And this particular system is one of those things that they put in there around 9,000, 8,000 BC, and it was a way to drain the war energy out of people so that they could get back into being a healer. And you're one of those souls who volunteered to take up that skill and to put their own selves at risk, because there's so many other parts of you that are existing on other worlds right now in very, very high levels of consciousness that are supporting you here now like a great brick foundation. Understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you're here to be the catalyst and healing rod, but at the same time, you can't continue to function on taking the energies of others and not recycling it into compost energy and then giving it back to the earth so the earth can repay you. That's the other part of this empathic tube energy, where you take the energy out of them and then you put your energy back in, and then what you do is recycle the energy that you've taken into composted energy so that all the blades of grass, the trees can absorb it as instantaneous energy. And in the actual system, as soon as the energy is being removed from the entity and enters your auric field, it actually turns into compost. There's no you don't actually hold the energy in your body, but that's what you're doing right now. You're holding the energy in your body, and you're waiting until these moments that you can be grounded or have a deep meditation, and you essentially take a big psychic dump and let it all out. Okay? Do you find yourself trying to do rooting meditations frequently, where you open up your root chakra and make roots into the ground?
Yeah, I do.
And you find like a big wave of energy goes all over you, and all of a sudden it's into the ground?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is you just took the psychic dump and let go of all that depression energy you took from someone else.
Okay.
And that's something you need to do more and more frequently, and I would advise you to do it in water.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Your water energies are low. I mean, they're not at critically low levels, but they're low. And the next thing is you need to have a lot more metal energy in your life. What I'm going to suggest is you go to a local scrapyard or something and find a hunk of metal, honestly, that you can make into a necklace or a belt or keep it in your pocket. Preferably not aluminum.
Okay.
So something non-aluminum, steel. You need metal in your life. You need metal in your life.
Okay.
Okay. And then the next thing, fire.
Yeah.
Okay, your fire levels are way out of whack right now. You throw the wood on the fire, it burns, it gives you this energy, the fire turns into ash, and then you're stuck relighting wet wood over and over and over and over and over again. So you need to have a stability of fire in your life. So whenever you wake up in the morning, make it a ritual that you light a candle and you walk away from it. And if you find yourself naturally wanting to blow it out, that's your subconscious telling you, no, you can't heal right now. All right? Make it a ritual. Maybe at noon you light a candle and you let it burn for an hour, or 6 o'clock, before dinner or after dinner, or whenever you're eating a meal, there's a candle burning. Okay? And that's it has to be your own little personal ceremony. It's not from me. It's that you do it because it makes you happy and it reminds you that there's an elemental side to you that needs to be nurtured.
Ignited.
Okay? Ignited, correct. Nurtured, ignited, loved, in all those situations, so it's recognized as part of your consciousness exploration that you're going through.
Yeah. Wow. So helpful. So many things. Just wanted to go back to the meditation on grounding and releasing the energetic influences from depressed people. Is just a meditation every day fine, or multiple times a day, or is there something else I can add to it? Or
There's a lot of other things that would add to it. Do you have any skills at energy work, like maybe massage, Reiki, hands-on healing? You have any of those skill sets?
yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, it would be very good for you to begin treatments on yourself that really. What skills do you have, like Reiki? I mean, which ones are you functioning with? Well,
Reiki
it would be,
and yeah.
the Choku Rei symbol is the power of the Hon Shao Zei Shei So Nen is the God in me and the God in you. The fire serpent is obviously for balancing fire or bringing fire energies into a specific area of your body. For you, it's going to be functioning with your tailbone and your sacral. As you start intermingling and co-creating with the energies of those two, your solar plexus is going to light up, and you're going to find yourself a lot more animated in social scenarios. And as the animation in social scenarios begins, the 9 petals in your heart will open up. And you're one of those rare people. You have an extra 2 petals, and so you're at an odd number of heart petals. And that odd number is actually, how do I put this, really interesting. Normally I see people with 9 or 12 or 24 heart petals, but you have 11. And you were born that way on purpose. That extra odd 11th petal literally allows you to do heart-based psychic surgery in a state of love, in a circle of trust with another being that's in your soul family. That's taking your empathic energies and understanding that just by holding space for people, you can heal them. Okay, like literally, that extra petal is doing work on the highest level of energies. So know that that's a part of you and it's always working. So creating a meditation that connects to the petals of your heart will be a great tool for consciousness exploration for you. It'll lead you into many new avenues of exploration and joy.
Oh my goodness. It's very exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any other questions?
No, I'll leave the space for somebody else to call. But I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and have a great day, Andrew, and bye-bye, Hans.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye,
Right.
Lisa.
Who's the next caller, Hans?
Let me see. Area code 909. You're on the air. Your name and where you calling from, please.
Hi, this is Diane from Los Angeles area.
Hey, Diane from the Los Angeles area. How you doing today?
Hi, good, thanks. I've been posting things on Julian's Facebook page, and you just accepted me on your Facebook page. And I've been listening to you for maybe the last 2 months or so.
Very
fascinating.
And how did you find out? How did you find out about me?
I'm not sure. It was either through the Collective Imagination show or through Julian.
Okay. Well, those have been one of those sources where those shows have really reached out to people.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm so excited that I got on the line.
Well, it's this power of synchronicities here, and that's so important that we allow synchronicity to exist. So, you want to get a reading today?
Yes, I'd love
Or
one.
do you have questions? Okay.
I don't even know. There's so many questions, but I don't even know the terms to put it into a question. So I think if we could just, if I could get a mini reading, that would be great.
Okay.
I can tell you this morning I woke up early and was remembering a dream that I had regarding a dog and finding a carrier for the dog in a pet store that kind of looked like a Charles Dickens, movie set. And I was, in the shop, I was thinking, well, I have one at home, but I really should be in the shop for some reason. And then I woke up and was reciting some meditations like I'm love, I'm light, and being in a state of gratitude and being excited.
I've tuned into you.
Okay.
I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is a multidimensional question because when I look at you, I see the enigma of who you are, and you're not the first one that I've seen that's like this. What's the first memory you have of this world?
when I stood up in my crib for the first time.
How
I remember pulling myself up. I was, under a year.
Okay. What do you remember before that?
Being with a lot of love in my family, just feeling love, but also I was afraid of my older sister.
Okay. Remember anything about a boat?
A boat? No, not really.
Boat with a sail on it?
No.
Well, the best way that I can describe it is when you came to this world, you had already lived lifetimes here before in the Lemurian and Atlantis societies, and you didn't live here during the bad times. You only lived here during the good times. And when you went to the other parts of the galaxy to go exploring when the bad times were here, you ran into a whole bunch of really, really good people. And these good people were able to see into time and into your DNA relations about what was going to be happening on this world at this time. And they essentially began teaching you from a specialized universal mystery school of how to explore free will at the highest levels on these other worlds. And you and we'll say another soul family that was really, really big, tens of thousands, migrated to these outer worlds on the very edges of the universe and began learning these skills of sovereignty and empowerment to take people to the next level. And this was encoded into your heart energy of the energy being that you were. And when you came back here and manifested on this world, you were not something the system of the domination control could even begin to comprehend. And at that point, if they didn't comprehend you, they gave you a blanket "no, you're not allowed in" message, and you had to wait in the astral world. Well, you waited and waited and waited in the astral world until you finally put your foot down and said, "I call to the powers of the Earth Mother and the spiritual courts of equity," and made yourself enter this world as a broken, contracted person. And when the system of domination control began to react to you, it was struck hard. It's as if your spirit guides pulled out the rolled up newspaper and started whacking everyone on the nose. All right? I mean, literally, I see these protector spirits in you that are saying, "She's here, and if you don't like it, stop us." And time and time and time and time and time and time again, they tried attacking you in the dream world, and somebody pulled out a wet newspaper and just whacked the crap out of these beings that were trying to hurt you.
Mhm. Yeah,
Right,
I've always felt like I've been so protected my entire life.
Oh yeah. I mean, and the experiences that you've had where you felt unprotected is the experience itself, so you understand it. I mean, we've all had situations in our life where, things ain't going right,
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, for you, this lifetime, you're meant to be a teacher. You're meant to be a person that can connect to the information stream almost similar to the way I do it. I mean, you're not going to be on the galactic historian side. You're just going to look into people's hearts and say, "This is what I see," and translate it back to them. It's the true heart and sovereignty of what it means to be a truly free-willed, loving individual that's not limited by the limitations of this disunity reality that cannibalizes our energy and does not give the people the opportunity to fully live.
Oh, I feel that you're speaking to my heart. I feel like that way exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, write a book. Honestly, write a book. Do something that takes your drive, your wisdom, your knowledge, and puts it into something that says, "Here's my heart. I'm holding space. I'm providing as much of my soul energy into this project, and I'm not going to let this soul energy disrupt my physical life. I'm simply going to love it to the next level and allow it to co-create with all of my heart petals." So the wisdom is there for everyone.
That's great. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. I see you having a radio show, honestly. It's just a matter of you coming to the determination and understanding of the endurance that it takes to get on the radio.
It's weird you said that because just the last few days I've been thinking that. And I thought, well, how could I ever do that? I listen to, so many, like Lisa and Bob and, Brian and you and Julian and Michael Monk, and, they're so good at speaking, and I'm thinking, how could I ever, even come close, and what would I even have to say? I don't know. I'm very good on one-to-one, people that I come across with, and but as far as like being on the radio, it's like I don't know who would want to listen to me.
I do.
Wow. Okay.
And I'll tell you why. There's so much heart energy coming through you right now that there are people that are sensing you on a whole different level. All right, and that's your true power. When they sense you on that level, you speak to them with human linguistics and so much more. And that's what we need in this world, is people that can speak beyond the limitations of our linguistics, that can put their heart energy